You've been eating sad salads and calling it being healthy. And honestly, that ends today, and I genuinely mean it. Ever wonder why fast food always seems to undo your whole week, even when you were trying to be careful? Today, I'll break down fast food nutrition like you're 5 years old. And by the end of this video, you'll have a mental cheat sheet that makes every drive-thru feel like a completely different place. Let's start with a scene you definitely know well. It's Tuesday evening around 6 p.m. and you're stuck in traffic. You're sitting in traffic. You haven't eaten since noon, and your blood sugar is doing that thing where your brain starts narrating everything in a slightly angry voice. You're passing a McDonald's, then a Chipotle, then a Taco Bell, and the voice says, "Just this once." And part of you almost listens, but you think, "I'm actually trying to eat better, so I'm not stopping." So you suffer through it, drive home, eat a handful of almonds over the sink, and feel vaguely miserable. Here's exactly what you got wrong about that whole situation. It wasn't the fast food that was the problem. It was not knowing what to actually do with it. Fast food is not the enemy. The specific thing you order is the enemy. And those are very different problems with very different solutions. So let's go through it, stop by stop, like a road trip where every exit is a different restaurant. And you've got the map now. First stop is McDonald's, and it's worth understanding what's actually happening here. The villain at McDonald's isn't the burger, it's everything surrounding the burger. The bun is roughly 150 calories of almost nothing. It breaks down fast, spikes your blood sugar, and leaves you hungry again in an hour. But the patty is actually protein, and it's doing real work. Protein keeps you full longer because your body burns more energy just digesting it. In fact, protein has about twice the satiety power of carbohydrates, gram for gram. Think of protein like a slow-burning log on a fire. The bun is kindling, gone in seconds. So the swap is embarrassingly simple. Order any burger and ask them to wrap it in lettuce. It sounds annoying and slightly ridiculous. Do it anyway. You just cut the whole thing down significantly without touching the part that actually fills you up. But wait, what about the fries? Here's where people get it backwards. The swap isn't to skip fries and feel sad about it. The swap is to get a small fries instead of a large, and pair it with water instead of a soda. That one move saves you more sugar than most people realize. A large soda has somewhere around 80 grams of sugar. That's more than 3 Snickers bars worth of sugar in a cup that you drank in 7 minutes without thinking about it. The sugar is where the real damage lives, not the food, the drink. Keep that thought. We're gonna come back to it at every single stop. Second stop, Chipotle. And this one's actually fun because Chipotle is basically a customizable health food restaurant that decided to hang out with fast food. The trap here is the burrito. Not because burritos are evil, but because the tortilla alone is about 300 calories. Pile in rice, beans, meat, sour cream, cheese, and guac, and you've accidentally built a 1,300-calorie meal. Eaten in 4 minutes, standing over a trash can. The swap is a bowl. Same food, no tortilla, roughly half the calorie count, without skipping a single ingredient you actually care about. Then skip the sour cream and double the salsa. Salsa is basically just vegetables being aggressive. It's flavor with no guilt attached. Here's the thing though, and this is the actual plot twist. Rice is doing you almost no favors either. It's not bad, it's just not doing much. It's filler. Skip the rice and add extra lettuce or veggies instead. The bowl gets more filling, not less, because fiber keeps you full. Rice fills the bowl. Fiber fills you. Those aren't the same job. And the drink at Chipotle? Skip the lemonade. It sounds innocent, but Chipotle's lemonade runs about 35 grams of sugar per serving. And that's before you consider that most people refill it at least once without thinking twice. Get water or unsweetened iced tea. Same meal, completely different outcome. Third stop, Subway. And look, Subway has spent a lot of time telling you it's the healthy fast food. The problem is that reputation was built on one specific guy's very specific diet, and it quietly fell apart sometime around 2015. Here's what's interesting. Subway didn't get healthier or unhealthier overnight. The food stayed basically the same. What changed was who was vouching for it. Which should make you wonder, how many other healthy food reputations are built on similarly shaky ground? The actual trap at Subway is the bread and the sauces. A foot long on white bread with mayo and ranch isn't a health food. It's just a big sandwich. 2 tablespoons of ranch dressing alone can run you close to 150 calories. And most people aren't measuring tablespoons at a Subway counter. The swap. Get any sub in a salad bowl instead of bread. Yes, Subway does this. Not enough people ask for it. All the toppings, all the meat, in a bowl with lettuce as the base. Add mustard instead of mayo. Mustard is basically calorie-free, and people sleep on it constantly. You've got something that genuinely tastes good and isn't actively working against you. Go easy on the cheese, too. Cheese adds almost nothing to the flavor here, but it adds a lot to everything else. Trade it for extra vegetables. You've actually got a better sub, not a worse one. And for the drink? Subway's fountain sodas are the same trap as McDonald's. Same 80 grams of sugar, different cup. Get water. Or black coffee if it's earlier in the day. Your blood sugar will thank you by 3 p.m. Fourth stop, Taco Bell. Yes, Taco Bell. Stay with me. Taco Bell's menu is overwhelming on purpose. It's designed to make you panic order the Crunchwrap Supreme without really deciding anything. But buried in that menu is one of the best fast food options that nobody talks about, the Power Menu Bowl. It's got rice, black beans, chicken, lettuce, tomato, sour cream, guac, and cheese. It's filling. It's genuinely decent. The swap. Ask for no sour cream and no rice, and add extra black beans. Black beans are doing serious work. They've got protein, they've got fiber. A single serving has around 7 grams of fiber, which is more than most people get in an entire breakfast. They hit the same satisfaction spot that rice and sour cream try to hit, but they actually hold you over until your next meal. Rice and sour cream are promising something they can't deliver. Black beans just quietly do the job. And at Taco Bell, the drink trap is sneaky. The Mountain Dew Baja Blast sounds like a fun theme park experience. It has 56 grams of sugar in a medium. That's almost 2 Snickers bars in a cup. Get water or unsweetened iced tea. Every time. Now here's where we come back to Tuesday night traffic. You're in the car. You're hungry. You're passing these places. And the voice in your head isn't saying just this once anymore. It's asking something different now. What do I actually order? At every single stop on that drive home, there's a version of the meal that works with your body instead of against it. The swaps aren't punishing. They don't taste like cardboard. They're not the sad salad version of fast food. They're the same restaurants, with a better set of decisions layered on top. And here's the thing the sugar thread was building toward the whole time. The drink is almost always where the most damage is hiding. The food is visible. You can see a burger and make a call. But nobody thinks twice about what's in the cup. That's where the real swap lives. And it costs you absolutely nothing in taste to get it right. The diet that actually works is the one that doesn't feel like punishment. You can't willpower your way through every meal forever. Nobody has ever stuck with a plan because they found a way to love being miserable about food. You stick with things that taste good and happen to be better for you, because that's the only version that's actually sustainable. So here's the question worth thinking about. If the healthy choice and the satisfying choice were secretly the same choice all along, what else have you been unnecessarily suffering through?